Hi, I'm Dave from Singh Technologies in Franklin, Tennessee, and I'm going to show you some of the common issues with the Xbox 360 controllers. And the first one is the wireless controller, which mainly doesn't have too many issues except for the batteries, leaking battery acid inside the controller. To neutralize the battery acid, which is the corrosion that gets on these little metal tabs that are in here, or inside of the actual case itself, you're going to have to use baking soda. Not baking powder, use baking soda and rub it on there, and that'll stop the corrosion from going any farther. Once you do that, then take an eraser from a pencil and actually clean the contacts that are on here and on the inside part, and it should be okay for a while. The corrosion will creep back if you leave the batteries in too long. Another common problem is the Xbox controller itself dropped, and the right or left button or the trigger buttons themselves get broken. They are replaceable. You can go online anywhere and search out to get the actual buttons themselves. Just take the 5 screws or 6 screws out of the bottom of this. This will pop apart, and these buttons are just held in place by a little pin in the center. The same with the trigger ones. If you just lift straight up, you can put the new one in, and it should work fine. The button mechanisms, once you get inside of there, if the actual button itself is broke, it's time to just go get a new controller or go to one of the used game places to buy a controller that's used to save some money. The second one is the wired controller, and a lot of people have pets out there, and I'm just simulating with this wire what happens is you get an animal or anything, a chair rolling over it, somebody walking over it with stiletto heels or something like that, to where it actually punctures the wires. Then your Xbox or the controller will work with a few functions, but the rest of it won't. And basically what's happened inside this wire is 2 of the little wires, because there's probably a whole bunch of wires inside of here, have broken. Wire strippers are the most common things to use. You can use a razor knife and strip the outside shielding off of just the rubber part off of the wire, and then peel back the shielding that's on here, and the wires are inside of that. And then if you look with an Xbox controller, there's about 8 wires. This is just a simulation, I've only got 2 in here. You would take those wires on either side and strip them bare so that you have your wires on the end, and this one here is a wire. And you would take this other side right here and do the exact same thing. You would strip back, and then whichever wire was cut, whichever color, because there's, I don't know, quite a few colors in the Xbox controller, and take the wire that's cut and strip it back so that it's bare, and then put the 2 together like this, and then get your soldering iron out and put a drop of solder on there. And then take some electrical tape and wrap it around it so it doesn't touch any other wires. And that basically will fix your wired Xbox controller, or pretty much any wired controller.